Here's the divorce papers. You can submit them to the city office right now if you want. But you can't, can you? You're unemployed, after all. You wouldn't survive without me. My husband sneered as he held out the signed divorce papers. He often mocked me for being unemployed and was now using divorce papers to make me obey him. What a cowardly man. Despite my exhausting efforts to single-handedly raise our twins, he never showed an ounce of gratitude. Instead, he was trying to control me by threatening divorce, knowing full well that with my parents living far away, I had nowhere else to go. As I stared solemnly at the divorce papers, he let out a contemptuous laugh. You'd be in trouble if I divorced you, wouldn't you? You've been getting too full of yourself lately, so I need to remind you of your place. Let this be a lesson, don't ever talk back to me again. Got it. As he started to withdraw the papers, I snatched them from his hands. Then, with a bright smile, I declared, "Thanks. I'll go submit these right away." Leaving him dumbfounded, I took the twins and left the house. As I headed to the city office, I muttered to myself, "That's what you get for underestimating me. My name is Fiona, and I'm 32 years old." Having always loved children, I attended a vocational school for childcare after high school and obtained my childcare license. After graduating, I started working at a daycare center and found the work deeply fulfilling. Though there were many challenges, being a childcare worker felt like my true calling. Now, with over 10 years of experience, I was considered a veteran at my workplace. My colleagues relied on me, and parents trusted me. While everything seemed perfect, I had one concern: I rarely had the chance to meet potential partners. While my friends were getting married one after another, with many already having children, I hadn't had a serious relationship since starting work. I hadn't minded much before because I loved my job, but seeing everyone around me getting married made me wonder if I was on the right path. Just as I was starting to feel anxious about this, I received a call from my high school friend Othelia. Othelia was a successful career woman working at a trading company and one of my most admired friends, blessed with both beauty and brains. "Fiona, it's been a while. How are you? Did you hear Serena's getting married? I got the wedding RSVP, are you going?" Serena was our high school classmate. "Yes, of course I'll attend. Everyone's finding happiness, I'm a bit envious." I accidentally let my true feelings slip. Othelia asked curiously, "Oh, so you're interested in marriage? I thought you were focused solely on your career since I've never heard you talk about boyfriends." "Of course I want to get married. I want to have my own children too. But I just don't have any opportunities to meet anyone." "When was my last boyfriend?" "I can't even remember anymore," I said dejectedly. Othelia seemed to ponder for a moment over the phone. After a brief silence, she suddenly exclaimed, "Then why don't you come to a dinner party I'll organize? I'll gather some single men and women, and we can all have fun drinking together. I'm looking for a boyfriend too." "Really? Thank you. But are you sure it's okay? You're so busy with work, I don't want to trouble you." Othelia's offer was very welcome to me, who had no opportunities to meet people, but I worried about asking this of her, knowing how busy she was with her trading company job. Don't worry, don't worry. It's for a dear friend. It's my pleasure. Othelia laughed cheerfully. Thank you so much. I expressed my gratitude and eagerly awaited the day. On the day of the dinner party, I dressed up as best I could and went to the venue, where I found many men and women Othelia had invited. Being bright and sociable, Othelia knew many different types of people through her work at the trading company. Among them was Zion, Othelia's older brother by 3 years. Though I had met him a few times in high school, his appearance had become much more mature, and I didn't recognize him at first. Fiona, it's been a while, Zion called out to me, but I responded rather rudely with ho. Not knowing who he was. Not seeming to mind my reaction at all, Zion introduced himself with a smile. You probably don't recognize me after so long. It's me, Othelia's brother Zion. We've met before, right? Oh. Zion. I'm so sorry for being rude. It has been a long time. Zion and I quickly fell into nostalgic conversation. Fiona, you were beautiful in high school, but you've become even more beautiful. What do you do for work? I'm a child care worker. I love children. That's amazing. Zion worked at the same trading company as Othelia. His hobby was motorcycles, and he often went on day trips on his bike during weekends. Throughout our conversation, Zion was always attentive, making sure my drink wasn't empty. Attracted to his mature and gentlemanly demeanor, I asked for his contact information and sent him a message right after the party. After several dates, we started dating. Othelia was delighted when Zion and I got together. Since our workplaces were close, Zion and I moved in together soon after we started dating, and shortly after that, I discovered I was pregnant. What, pregnant? Zion's eyes nearly popped out in surprise. Yes. I haven't been to the doctor yet, but I confirmed it with a pregnancy test. I could feel my face flushing with joy and excitement. Hooray! Thank you. Though it's a bit out of order, Fiona, will you marry me? Zion proposed with a beaming smile, and of course, I accepted. Having never had much romantic experience before, things progressed very quickly after meeting Zion. We had already introduced ourselves to each other's parents when we moved in together, but we visited them again to announce the pregnancy and marriage. Everyone congratulated us warmly, and I was filled with happiness. Soon after, I went to the obstetrics clinic for an ultrasound examination. To our surprise, there were 2 baby shadows in my womb. I was carrying twins. What, twins? I was very surprised by this unexpected news from the doctor. I had naturally assumed I was carrying just one baby, and worries about our future life crossed my mind. However, my heart was filled with even more joy, and I couldn't wait to meet the 2 babies. Of course, there was no question about carrying the pregnancy to term. That night, when Zion returned from work, I immediately told him about the twins. What? Twins? Oh, will we be okay? The money and effort will be double, right? I hear raising twins is really tough. Zion's reaction was one of shock, and he looked worried. True, but the joy will be double too, right? I'm happy to be carrying twins. At my words, Zion nodded. I guess that's true. Okay. If you want to have them, that's fine. Yes. Of course I want to have them. Zion's words, if you want to have them, weren't what I had hoped to hear. I had wanted him to be happy about the twins too, but I tried not to mind his reaction too much, understanding his anxiety. Surely once they were born, his anxiety would disappear in the face of their cuteness. I continued my childcare work until my belly became noticeably bigger, then resigned. This job had been my calling, but I decided in my heart that I would return to work as a childcare worker once the children were older. Time passed, and I gave birth to healthy twin boys and girls. Zion cried with joy and said, "Thank you. You did great." Seeing Zion lovingly holding the twins in turn, I felt deeply relieved. Though his reaction to the news of twins had been lukewarm, it seemed seeing them in person brought more joy than anxiety. During my hospital stay, Othelia came to visit. "So these are my niece and nephew. How adorable," she said with tears in her eyes, being a child lover like me. Zion also visited frequently, and I felt nothing but hope for our future life. Surely we would live happily as a family of 4. However, my hopes were quickly dashed after returning home. Their crying is so damn loud. I can't sleep, make them shut up. The one shouting at me was Zion. He started yelling around the 3rd day after I brought the twins home. I hurriedly changed diapers and gave them milk, but babies cry, that's their job. They don't stop crying easily, and moreover, there are 2 of them. Often when one started crying, it would set off the other one. If you're going to complain, why don't you help a little? You could at least hold them. What? Why should I? Besides, you're the one who wanted twins, right? I never expected twin crying to be this loud. It's driving me crazy. Unlike you who's unemployed, I have work tomorrow. What if lack of sleep affects my work? I'm a star performer in my department. Even when I asked Zion for help, he only insisted on his own position and never helped. You were crying with joy when they were born. Why have you changed so much? When I said this, Zion scoffed. I was moved when they were born. I thought they were cute during the hospital stay. But once they came home, they're so noisy I can't find them cute anymore. Maybe I'll think they're cute again if you stop them from crying. You're their mother, can't you at least keep them from crying? What? That's terrible. As I stood there shocked by Zion's words, the twins' crying grew louder. Shut up. Are you monsters? How can you cry so loud? I can't take it anymore. I can't sleep in this house. I'm going to sleep at a hotel. Saying this, Zion packed only his necessary belongings in a bag while I desperately tried to soothe the twins. Then with a "See ya, good luck," he left the house. This can't be real? I was overwhelmed with disappointment in Zion's behavior, feeling darkness closing in around me. Until we brought the twins home, Zion had never yelled at me. He had been calm and gentlemanly. Yet now he was freely hurling abuse and shouting. Was this Zion's true nature? With my emotions in turmoil between sadness and anger, I quietly shed tears. Then, the twins stopped crying. Though it was probably coincidence, it felt as if they were worried about my crying. This is no time for tears. I need to be strong for these children, I told myself, resolving to stay strong. After that, Zion rarely came home. Saying the twins' crying was too loud, he started staying at hotels every night. Every day I would receive a message saying, "Not coming home today either." Staying at a hotel. With both our parents living far away, I couldn't rely on them for help, and my sleepless days continued. Even though I had loved children and worked as a childcare worker for years, caring for twins alone was extremely challenging. I thought about asking Othelia for help, but she was a hard-working career woman. I felt hesitant to contact her, knowing how busy she was with work. When Zion did occasionally come home, he would complain about how I did the housework, never showed affection for the twins, and only spoke ill of us. After several months of this, one afternoon I received a message from Zion saying, "Coming home today. Obviously have dinner ready. I'm in the mood for Chinese." When Zion returned home that night, he started yelling as soon as he stepped into the living room. "Hey! What's with this messy house? It's a complete disaster. Aren't you a housewife? Do the housework properly." While it was true that I couldn't keep up with tidying the house while constantly caring for the twins, I wasn't going to take this from a man who had abandoned us for days. Taking care of these precious children is the top priority, so it can't be helped if the room gets a bit messy. Maybe if there was another adult to help, we could manage the housework too. When I responded sarcastically, Zion clicked his tongue. "Hurry up and prepare dinner. I'm tired from work and hungry." "Wash your hands first," I said calmly, and Zion stomped off to the sink with heavy footsteps. While Zion was washing his hands, I set out the side dishes I had bought from the supermarket on the table. The twins had been in a bad mood today, and I simply hadn't had time to cook properly. I knew Zion would complain, but I had no choice but to buy prepared food since I couldn't find time to cook. When Zion returned from washing his hands and saw the table, he predictably flew into a rage. "What's this? Store-bought food. Why isn't it homemade? This is ridiculous. Didn't I say I wanted Chinese food? Stop yelling at everything. I didn't have time to cook today. And there wasn't any Chinese food at the supermarket's deli section." At my words, Zion mockingly replied, "What do you mean you didn't have time? Don't act busy when you're unemployed. My mother always made delicious homemade meals while raising children. Don't make excuses. Your mother is wonderful, but she didn't raise twins." While my mother-in-law was efficient and had always been kind to me, and I liked both my in-laws, my father-in-law was equally kind, and I often saw him helping his wife with housework when we visited, so they had probably always shared household and childcare duties. I was angry at Zion for comparing me to his mother when our situations were completely different. If you're going to compare me to your mother, then you should act like your father. Don't talk back. You're a failure as both a wife and mother. Don't say such things. You should come home every day and help with the housework and childcare. If you helped, I could keep the house cleaner and cook meals. Don't just complain when you don't do anything. I desperately appealed to Zion. Humph. I can't because I have work. Housework and childcare are women's work, right? Besides, you unemployed freeloader can only live because of me. You can't survive without me, yet you're acting so high and mighty. After saying this, Zion smiled wickedly as if he had thought of something. He went to the bedroom and didn't return for a while. Wondering what he was doing, I peeked into the bedroom to find him rummaging through the shelves. Found it, he said, emerging with a piece of paper. He held it out to me with a smirk. These are divorce papers, I muttered, looking at the paper. They were indeed divorce papers, with Zion's section already filled out. Try submitting them if you can, Zion laughed uglily, continuing to hold out the papers. Well, you can't, right? You unemployed freeloader wouldn't survive without me. Let this be a lesson, don't ever talk back to me again. Got it. As he started to withdraw the papers, I snatched them away. Then, with a bright smile, I declared, thanks. I'll go submit these right away. Huh? While Zion stood there dumbfounded, I filled out my section of the papers. Then I took the twins and left the house. Zion seemed unable to comprehend the situation, staring at me blankly. As I had declared, I went to the city office and submitted the divorce papers. Just like that, my marriage to Zion was dissolved. After leaving the city office, I called someone. Hello? Fiona, what's wrong? Did something happen? Othelia's worried voice came through the phone. I had called Othelia. Yes, actually. I told her about divorcing Zion, and she agreed to let me stay at her place for a while. The next afternoon, Zion called. Hey. Where are you? Why haven't you come home? You're unemployed and have no money, so you have nowhere to go. I was tired of Zion yelling from the moment he started speaking. Stop shouting. Can't you talk in a normal voice? And of course I'm not coming home, we're divorced, remember? Though I'll have to come back a few times to sort out my belongings. What? Divorce? Did you really submit those papers? You can't survive without me, what are you thinking? You unemployed fool, you're really stupid. How do you plan to live from now on? There's a limit to being thoughtless. Even at this point, Zion was still looking down on me, so I decided to reveal the truth. Actually, I've been working as a freelance writer specializing in childcare topics from home. What? Writer? Zion's voice sounded dumbfounded. Yes. Being a mother of twins has actually helped me get attention, and thankfully, I earn enough to support myself. The truth was, when I resigned from my childcare job, I had started working as a writer sharing useful information about childcare. With my experience as a childcare worker and my twin pregnancy, I was able to share many experiences that attracted readers from the beginning. After giving birth, I candidly wrote about raising twins, which resonated with many people. I was also good at drawing illustrations, so including these along with my writing attracted even more interest. As a result, I was fortunately able to earn a stable income. When did you start doing that? Zion was shocked by the truth I revealed. I never knew I had talent as a writer when I was working as a childcare worker, but you never know what you're good at until you try. I really enjoy both writing and drawing. Writing work has become a good outlet for me while raising the children. Although the twins don't sleep at the same time very often yet, I can work quite efficiently even in short bursts when I concentrate. So you weren't unemployed? Then are you really going through with this divorce? Going through with it? I already did. I submitted the divorce papers yesterday, remember? Didn't you hear me say that earlier? Are you even listening to me? When I responded with exasperation, Zion raised his voice. This is ridiculous. I never agreed to divorce. You submitted the papers unilaterally. This is unfair. What are you talking about? You clearly signed the divorce papers. It's quite a stretch to say you didn't agree to divorce when you signed them. That was just meant to be a threat. Because you were getting too full of yourself. I never thought you'd actually submit them. Go to the city office right now and tell them it was a mistake. As Zion ranted, I sighed and said coldly, so you didn't want to divorce me that badly? I had no idea. I actually thought you wanted to remarry your mistress. Seemingly reacting to my words, Zion's breath caught audibly over the phone. He fell silent. Oh. Why so quiet? What happened to all that energy from earlier? What are you talking about? Me, having an affair? I have no idea what you're talking about. As Zion tried to play innocent, I pressed on. Do you think I don't know anything? It's pointless to deny it. I have solid evidence of your affair, including multiple photos of you entering and leaving hotels arm in arm with a young, pretty girl. You worthless man. Though I had meant to stay calm, my emotions got the better of me as I spoke. How do you have such things? And what's with calling me worthless? Do you think you can say such things? Take it back. It's the truth. Are you surprised to learn you're worthless? I'm shocked. A man who doesn't help with housework or childcare, who yells constantly, who doesn't come home, and who cheats, how is that not worthless? Please, explain it to me. Then Othelia, who was beside me, spoke to Zion. I had kept the phone on speaker the whole time. Zion. It's me. What? Othelia. What, is Fiona at your place? Hey, Othelia. Tell Fiona to come home. Fiona won't return to you. You're just strangers now that you're divorced. Zion, you're truly the worst. Fiona told me about all your awful behavior. I'm completely disgusted. When I first returned home from the hospital, I had hesitated to contact Othelia, knowing how busy she was with work. However, when Othelia contacted me later, I was at my emotional limit and decided to tell her everything. I confided about Zion's verbal abuse, his complete lack of help with childcare and housework, and how he rarely came home. And about my suspicions of his affair. While Zion always claimed to be staying at hotels, I had a feeling he wasn't staying alone. This was purely women's intuition, but I suspected another woman was involved in his change in behavior and sudden angry outbursts. After hearing my concerns, Othelia said, "I understand. I'll follow Zion and see what he's up to. Since we work at the same company, it'll be easy to know his schedule." I felt guilty about asking so much of her, but Othelia insisted, "Leave it to me." As a result, Othelia caught photos of Zion entering hotels with a new female employee from their company. While Othelia wanted to confront Zion immediately, I asked her to wait until I was ready to bring up divorce. And just as I was considering when to raise the topic, Zion conveniently presented me with signed divorce papers, so I went ahead with the divorce. Othelia. How could you follow me? What kind of sister are you, trying to discredit me? Zion was screaming in rage. What kind of brother are you? I never thought you'd be such a horrible person. I regret introducing you to Fiona. But Fiona told me she doesn't regret marrying you because she got to meet the twins thanks to you. Her words really helped me feel better. What I told Othelia was true. While Zion was a terrible person, the fact remains that I met my children because I married him. So I've never once regretted marrying him. I don't want to think of you as my brother anymore, you who made my dear friend suffer and showed no love for my precious niece and nephew. Hey, why am I getting all the blame? As Zion growled in frustration, I delivered the final blow. Zion, be prepared to pay both the division of assets and compensation for adultery. What? Compensation? You're going to take money. Zion's voice rose to a ridiculous pitch. Of course. And since we know who your mistress is from Othelia, I'll be claiming compensation from her too. Hey, wait a minute. Please don't claim compensation. And she's still a new employee, it would be cruel to demand compensation from her. Zion's absurd reasoning was giving me a headache. Cruel? It's just the natural consequence of having an affair with a married man. If you feel that bad for her, why don't you pay her share of the compensation? I wouldn't mind that. Well, I've spent quite a bit of money on motorcycles, so I don't have much savings. Please. Just don't claim compensation. I'm begging you. I'll even apologize. Tired of Zion's fake humility, I coldly replied, apologize? Why are you still so condescending even now? I won't withdraw the compensation claim, and your lack of savings is irrelevant. You will pay properly. Hey. After I've begged so much, you still won't give in. No, I won't. I'm currently looking for a lawyer, and they'll contact you once I've found one. Goodbye. With that, I hung up. Afterward, as promised, I pursued compensation claims against both Zion and his mistress through a lawyer. The mistress paid my requested amount immediately, then broke up with Zion, quit her job, and returned to her hometown. Apparently, her parents had paid the compensation for her. However, when her parents learned she had an affair with a married man, they were furious and ordered her to help with the family farm. As for Zion, he had almost no savings left after spending so much on his motorcycle hobby. When he schemed to borrow money from his parents, they had already heard everything from Ophelia and were furious, immediately sending him away. My in-laws called to apologize, saying, "We're so sorry about our foolish son, but I don't hold any grudge against them. They had always been very kind to me." When I said I'd visit with the twins sometime, they thanked me through tears. Now single, Zion's reputation at work was ruined after Ophelia told their colleagues about his misdeeds. He had been pretending to be a devoted father at work, but when all his lies were exposed, people began avoiding him, making his position untenable and forcing him to resign. With no income or savings and unable to pay compensation, Zion called me seeking reconciliation. "Fiona, I quit my job so I have no money. I can't possibly pay compensation, so please get back together with me. We could build a good family this time." What? Do you think getting back together would cancel the compensation? Well, I absolutely won't reconcile anyway. Besides, your mistress paid her compensation immediately, but you haven't paid a single dollar yet. Aren't you ashamed, being over 10 years older than her? Don't say such harsh things. Please. You're all I have left, Fiona. I love you. Let's get back together. I'll change my ways and be a good husband and father. Though Zion begged through tears, I felt no sympathy. This is creepy and annoying. Don't ever call me again. And make sure you pay the compensation properly. Goodbye. I hung up and blocked his number. I later heard from Ophelia that Zion returned to his parents' house and managed to get in after begging on his knees. He arranged to live in the dormitory of a factory where his father's acquaintance worked, and now apparently works hard doing manual labor every day to pay the compensation. As for me, after staying at Ophelia's house for a while, I decided to return to my parents' home. My parents welcomed us warmly and adore the twins. I find joy in sharing time with my adorable children with my parents, and my work as a childcare writer is going well. When the twins are older, I hope to return to work as a childcare worker again.